Have you ever felt that burning fire inside you when someone hurt you, that instant urge to react, to defend, to shout, or to prove your worth? That's the very moment life is testing your strength, not your words. In those few seconds after pain strikes, something powerful happens. Your mind screams, react, your ego whispers, don't let them get away with it. But your soul quietly says, be still. That stillness, that pause, is where your real power lies. Most people think strength is loud. They think it's the roar, the comeback, the last word. But true strength, it's silent, it's calm. It's that unshaken presence that refuses to let pain dictate your behavior. When you choose not to react, you're not weak. You're not avoiding confrontation. You're mastering yourself. It takes courage to be quiet when you've been misunderstood. It takes maturity to walk away when your heart wants revenge, and it takes power, real inner power, to remain calm when someone tries to trigger your chaos. You see, reaction is instinct, but restraint is growth. Anyone can throw words when they're hurt, but only those who have met themselves deeply can choose peace instead of noise. So the next time someone hurts you, I want you to remember this truth. You don't need to prove your worth in that moment. You already know who you are, and that knowing, that calm knowing, will always speak louder than any reaction ever could, because your silence, when grounded in self-worth, is not weakness. It's the loudest declaration of your power. Pain has a strange way of knocking on your door, not softly but with force. It doesn't ask permission. It storms in, grabs your peace, and dares you to react. And in that moment, everything inside you wants to do something. Shout, defend, explain, or fight back. But here's the truth. Most people never learn reacting may feel good for a moment, but it steals your power for a lifetime. When someone hurts you, they've already taken something from you, your trust, your sense of safety, maybe even your dignity. But when you react impulsively, you hand them something far more valuable, your control. And that's the trap pain sets. It convinces you that you must respond right now, that silence means defeat. But silence doesn't mean defeat. It means discipline. It means choosing to respond when your emotions are healed, not hijacked. There's a reason the strongest people you'll ever meet are often the quietest in moments of conflict. They've learned the sacred difference between reaction and response. Reaction is emotional. Response is intentional. Reaction is survival. Response is strength. You cannot see clearly through the smoke of pain when you react in the heat of the moment. You're not speaking your truth. You're speaking your wounds. And your wounds don't tell the full story. They only echo the hurt. But when you take a breath, when you let the sting settle before you speak, you're reclaiming your power. You're saying, you may have hurt me, but you will not control me. That's the kind of strength that doesn't shout. It radiates. It's the calmness in your eyes that says, I know who I am, and no one's behavior will make me forget that. Because in the end, real power is not in the reaction. It's in the pause. That sacred pause where you choose peace over proof. The hardest battle you'll ever fight isn't with the person who hurt you. It's with your own ego. When someone wounds you, your ego rises fast. It demands validation. It screams, they can't treat me like this. It wants to be seen, heard, and right. But your soul whispers something very different. It says, stay still. Don't lose yourself trying to prove your worth. And in that tension between ego and soul, your real strength is tested. The ego wants war, but the soul wants peace. The ego reacts to be understood, but the soul stays silent to remain grounded. The ego fears humiliation, but the soul trusts that truth doesn't need defending. When you choose not to react, your ego feels like it's dying, because ego feeds on attention, on proving, on being right. But that death, it's actually transformation. Every time you let your ego go quiet, you rise a little higher in wisdom. You start realizing that people's behavior toward you says more about them than it ever will about you. You begin to see that not every insult deserves a response. Not every betrayal needs revenge, and not every misunderstanding requires an explanation. It's because peace isn't found in convincing others. It's found in understanding yourself. You can't control what people say. You can't control how they twist your intentions or misread your silence. But you can control your energy, and that's everything. The moment you stop reacting, you stop giving others the power to write your emotional story. You become the author again, and you write with clarity, not chaos, with calm, not confusion. Your soul already knows your worth. It doesn't need applause or defense. It just needs you to trust that staying still isn't weakness, it's wisdom. because sometimes not reacting isn't about ignoring pain. It's about honoring your peace. There is a moment right after someone hurts you when time almost slows down. It's that split second between what happened and what you do next. That moment, that pause is sacred. It's small, but it carries the power to shape your peace or destroy it. Most people rush through that pause. They react, they defend, they explain. They try to fix the pain by doing something, anything, but healing doesn't begin in reaction. Healing begins in restraint. It begins when you choose to sit in that stillness and say, I will not let this pain decide who I become. That pause is not empty. It's full of clarity, of self-respect, of wisdom waiting to rise. When you don't react immediately, you give yourself permission to feel without judgment. You let the emotion pass through you instead of letting it possess you. And that's powerful because emotions are like waves. They rise, they crash, and they fade. But if you react while the wave is high, you'll drown in it. If you wait, if you breathe, if you let it pass, you'll find your footing again. That's why silence after hurt isn't weakness. It's emotional maturity. It's the understanding that peace costs less than pride, because pride wants to prove, but peace wants to protect. When you take that sacred pause, you're telling your soul, I choose me. Not the argument, not the drama, not the need to be right. You choose your energy, your growth, your healing. That's the kind of strength that doesn't need to be seen to be powerful. It's invisible, but undeniable. And when people realize they can no longer pull you into chaos, they begin to understand you're not avoiding the storm anymore. You are the calm inside it. Every wound you carry holds a lesson. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every harsh word. They're not just moments of suffering. They're invitations to grow stronger. But the only way pain becomes power is when you stop reacting to it and start reflecting on it. When you react, you stay stuck in the story of the hurt. You replay what they did, what they said, how unfair it felt. But when you pause and reflect, you rise above it. You start asking deeper questions. What is this pain trying to teach me? What part of me is being called to grow? Pain is not punishment. It's a teacher. A silent, uncomfortable, but profoundly honest teacher. It exposes the places within us that still crave validation, still seek control, still fear rejection. And once you see that clearly, you stop fighting the pain, you start learning from it. That's when transformation begins. Because pain doesn't change you, awareness does, and awareness only comes in stillness. The moment you stop reacting, you reclaim your perspective. You stop looking at life through the wound and start seeing it through wisdom. You begin to realize not everyone's opinion deserves space in your heart. Not every disappointment is meant to break you. Some are meant to shape you. Turning pain into power means allowing what hurt you to refine you, not define you. It's looking back and saying, that moment could have made me bitter, but I chose to become better. And yes, it's hard. Choosing silence when you're burning inside feels unnatural. But remember, the fire that once hurt you can also light your path if you know how to use it. Your pain doesn't disempower you, your reaction does. So hold your fire, breathe through it, and let it forge a strength within you that no one can take away. Because real power isn't how loud you roar after pain, it's how deeply you rise because of it. Silence is often misunderstood. People think silence means surrender, that if you don't respond, you've lost. But the truth is, silence is one of the most powerful languages a healed soul can speak. When someone hurts you, they expect a reaction. They expect anger, argument, or tears, because that means they still have power over your emotions. But when you stay silent, calm, and centered, you confuse their expectations. You're showing them without a single word that their chaos can't reach your peace. That kind of silence isn't emptiness. It's strength under control. It's a message that says, I've outgrown this level of noise. Think about it. The most grounded people don't waste energy proving themselves. They've learned that their dignity doesn't need defending and their worth doesn't need words. Their silence isn't passive. It's protective. It's a declaration, I am not available for drama. Silence gives you power because it forces the other person to sit with their own behavior. They have nothing to fight against, no reaction to justify themselves with, just the mirror of their own actions. And that reflection often speaks louder than any response ever could. But here's what makes silence even more powerful. It creates space. Space for clarity, for emotional healing, for understanding what actually matters. In silence, you can hear your intuition more clearly than ever before. You start realizing what deserves your energy and what doesn't. And maybe, just maybe, You'll find that some battles aren't worth fighting because peace is too expensive to lose. So the next time someone hurts you, don't let your silence be filled with bitterness. Let it be filled with grace. Let it speak for your maturity, your boundaries, and your inner calm, because sometimes the loudest "I've moved on" isn't said in words at all. It's spoken through your peace, your distance, and your refusal to react. When you choose not to react, something remarkable happens. You become a mirror. Your calmness forces others to see themselves clearly. Your silence reflects their behavior back to them in ways words never could, because when there's no argument to deflect to, no shouting match to hide behind, people are left alone with their own actions, and that silence is deafening. You see, when someone hurts you, they often expect the usual cycle: provoke, react, control. But when you break that pattern with peace, you interrupt their power. You're saying, I won't dance to the rhythm of your chaos. That's emotional intelligence at its highest form, refusing to participate in what diminishes you. Non-reaction teaches others how to treat you. It silently says, if you want access to my energy, bring respect, not drama. And over time, it shifts the balance of power. People who thrive on control lose interest when they can no longer pull strings. People who value peace, however, start gravitating toward you because your calm becomes magnetic. But here's the deeper truth. Your non-reaction isn't about them. It's about you. It's you declaring, I no longer operate from pain. I operate from purpose. You stop letting emotions dictate your behavior and start letting wisdom lead the way. And in that transformation, you begin to teach the world by example. You show that power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it simply stands tall in silence. You model what self-respect looks like. You teach that peace is not passive. It's protective. So let your stillness be your statement. Let your calmness be your boundary, because every time you choose not to react, you teach the world something profound, that strength isn't in domination or retaliation. It's in the quiet confidence of someone who knows their worth and refuses to let pain steal it. That's how your non-reaction becomes a lesson, one people never forget. There comes a moment in life when you realize that your peace is sacred, and not everyone deserves access to it. The people who hurt you, drain you, or try to provoke you are often testing one thing: the strength of your boundaries. Protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's survival. It's emotional maturity in action. It means understanding that not every invitation to chaos requires your attendance. When you stop reacting, you stop handing people free access to your inner world. You begin to say, my emotions are my responsibility, not your playground. Boundaries aren't walls, they're gates. You decide who walks in, who stays, and who leaves. And the moment you start choosing peace over reaction, those boundaries become unshakable. You no longer let guilt manipulate you or anger control you. You realize that distance is sometimes the highest form of respect for yourself. People will test your limits. They'll push buttons just to see if they still work. And when you no longer respond the way you used to, they'll call you cold, arrogant, or changed. But that's not arrogance. That's evolution. Growth will always be misunderstood by those who benefit from your lack of it. So protect your energy like it's gold, because it is. Every word you say, every reaction you give, every emotion you share at all costs energy. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? If the answer is no, walk away with grace. And here's the beauty of emotional boundaries. Once you set them, you stop bleeding energy in places that don't deserve it. You start feeling lighter, clearer, more grounded. You begin to see that not reacting is an avoidance, it's alignment, because your energy is your power. And when you learn to protect it, you stop being controlled by others and start leading your own life with peace, purpose, and emotional freedom. One of the greatest signs of emotional strength is when you no longer feel the need to prove your worth, because the truth is, the moment you start trying to prove, you've already forgotten that your value is not up for debate. When someone hurts you, they might twist your story, question your intentions, or even paint you as the villain, and it's natural to want to defend yourself, to shout, that's not who I am. But here's the thing, peace is worth more than proof. You don't need to convince anyone of your truth when your life already speaks it. The most powerful people don't chase validation. They walk in quiet confidence. They understand that truth has a strange way of revealing itself in time. You don't have to rush to explain yourself to those who are committed to misunderstanding you. Your silence, your consistency, your calm, they'll all tell the story better than words ever could. Choosing peace doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying what isn't yours to carry. It means understanding that sometimes closure doesn't come from others, it comes from within. You give yourself permission to stop explaining, stop defending, and simply rest in the knowing of who you are. You rise above not because you're ignoring the pain, but because you've outgrown the level where pain controls you. You no longer meet people in their chaos. You stay anchored in your calm. You don't shrink to be understood. You expand to be at peace. And when you reach that place, when you stop reacting and start rising, you realize something extraordinary. You were never meant to fight for your worth. You were meant to embody it, because peace doesn't prove anything. It simply shows everything. And that silent strength, that's the kind of power that moves the world without ever making a sound. There will come a moment, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, when life will test everything you've learned. Someone will betray your trust. Someone will disrespect your kindness. Someone will hurt you deeply. And in that instant, every part of you will want to react, to scream, to defend, to make them see the pain they caused. But that's the final test, the moment when real strength reveals itself. Because power isn't proven in how loud you respond. It's revealed in how calmly you rise above. Stillness is not weakness. It's not silence born from fear. It's silence born from wisdom. It's knowing that your reaction won't heal you, but your restraint will. It's understanding that your peace is too precious to hand over to someone who never earned it. When you master the art of non-reaction, you stop being moved by other people's storms. You realize that you don't need to fight to be respected. Your energy demands it. You stop chasing understanding from those who refuse to see you, because you finally understand yourself. That's when pain loses its power, because you've turned it into purpose. You've turned your silence into strength, your restraint into radiance. You've learned that walking away doesn't mean defeat. It means freedom. Every time you choose not to react, you're choosing to heal instead of hurt. You're choosing growth instead of revenge. You're choosing to protect your peace. And that's the highest form of power any human can reach. So the next time someone tries to pull you into their chaos, smile softly and remember you are no longer available for emotional battles that cost your peace. You are no longer explaining your worth to people who can't see it. You are no longer reacting, because you've mastered the stillness that only the strong can hold. And that stillness, that quiet, unwavering calm, is your real power. Because true strength has never been about how loudly you fight. It's always been about how gracefully you rise.